welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be sharing with you a few of my note-taking and study tips. I'm going to start by showing you some of my favorite essentials for note-taking. Just a quick disclaimer, this video is not sponsored, however, Arteza did send me these products for me to try, but all opinions are my own. If you're interested in any of their products, I will have a link to their website down below as well as a 10% off coupon. My first essential are highlighters. This is Arteza's neon highlighter pack that includes 30 thick and 30 thin barrels. It comes with 6 different neon colors that are perfect for highlighting all of your notes. I love that they don't smudge at all and dry really quick when you use them. This is how the small chisel tip looks like. And this is the bigger chisel tip. So right here I'm just watching the colors. As you can tell, they are really bright, which is always nice. Next, we have these Arteza TwiMarkers that come in a pack of 48. These are definitely an essential when it comes to lettering and doodling in your notes. They are water-based, which means they are blendable when you use a water brush pen. The color variety is amazing. It includes both bright and neutral colors. I like how you can see the true colors of the markers through the clear packaging. They are double-sided, so one side is a fine tip of 0.4 millimeters and the other side is a brush tip. Here I'm just showing you guys the swatches of all of the 48 colors. Overall, I'm very impressed on how these markers perform. My next essential are Fineliners. This is Arteza's 72 pack of Fineliner pens with a 0.4 millimeter tip. I personally love writing my notes with Fineliner pens rather than ballpoint pens. I tend to write much neater with Fineliner pens because the tip feels more comfortable and smoother. One of my favorite characteristics of these Fineliners is that their packaging have a triangular barrel. This prevents them from rolling off of your desk and also helps you have a nice grip when you write with them. Here are some swatches of the colors. Next, this is a 12 pack of black Fineliner pens. It's always nice to have backups, especially if you're like me and love to write all of your notes with Fineliner pens. If you're looking for some good Fineliner pens, I would definitely recommend you to check out Arteza. The next essential that I believe everyone needs are some sticky notes. This is Arteza's 48 pack of sticky notes that includes 6 different bright colors. I love using sticky notes for everything, so this pack will probably last me all throughout college. So my first note-taking tip is to try to keep a separate notebook for each of your classes. I learned the hard way with multiple subject notebooks and it never ended well. Instead, this will help you keep all of your notes nice and organized. At the top of the page, I like to write down the title of the set of notes by using lettering. I used the gray TwiMarker to create the lettering. This will help your title stand out from the rest of the text. Next, I use a highlighter to create a color line that will help me know what chapter the notes belong to. Then, using a black Fineliner pen, I like to write down the chapter number on the top. Here I'm just showing you a few other styles you can write your titles with. There are a ton of other different ways, it all depends on what you're the most comfortable to write. So now onto the subheadings. I like to write them down with a color fineliner pen that corresponds to the set of notes. Then I like to use a black fineliner pen to write down the bullet points with context and arrows for the subpoints. Keep repeating the same strategy depending on how many points and subpoints you may need. As you can tell, my note-taking system is really simple but also easy to understand when you look back at your notes. Right here I'm showing you how my note-taking system would look like with actual class notes. I like to use a colored fineliner pen to write down terms and a black one for definitions. This will make it much easier for you to read over. Another tip that I recommend you to do is to write down examples. Trust me, this will help you understand the material so much better. Next up, sticky notes are great to list any topics and adding additional details when you lift it up. Moving on to the next tip. I always like to use abbreviations and symbols to make my note-taking process go by faster. Here I'm just showing you a list of a few examples, but you can customize your own that would work for you. When taking your notes, I would recommend you not to worry so much about your grammar as long as it makes sense to you. My next tip is to take an index card and create your own color coding system. This will help you identify specific information much easier. For example, I labeled orange for terms, blue for examples, pink for quotes, green for dates/places, yellow for reasons, and purple for additional information. Moving on to my study tips. My go-to study strategy is using flashcards. I like to write down the key terms on the front of the card using a highlighter, then I flip it over and write the definitions using a fineliner pen. I recommend you to study the flashcards on a regular basis before you take your exam, and make sure to keep track of the cards you need the most help with so you can review them later. It's really simple but very efficient when it comes to memorizing and retaining information for an exam. You could also use index cards to write a more in-depth review over a chapter. It would include the information that would be the most important for you to learn. Lastly, creating mind maps with sticky notes is a great way to learn vocabulary. All you have to do is write down all of the terms and definitions on some sticky notes and place them on an empty wall. Then you can rearrange them by matching the definitions to the correct terms. Having them on your wall may also help you remind you to study, which is always great. I hope you guys found these note-taking and study tips helpful. Make sure to comment down below which tip was your favorite. Also, don't forget to check out our Tessa, I'll have a link to them down below. Thank you for watching, see you guys next week with a new DIY.